everyone, Sean McCrory with Realtor Reputation, and we have a very special guest with us today. Tim Burroughs of Keller Williams in Boise, Idaho, is going to be helping us answer the question that many of you have been asking. You know, when you go online, there's so many realtors. How do you find a really great one? So thanks for being with us today, Tim. We appreciate you being here. You have over 18 years of experience in the real estate industry. What advice would you give someone who's online looking for a realtor?
Well, I think there's several things that you can do, but the first one is to look for the realtor's reputation. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to use either Google or Bing or Yahoo, and to make a search for the city and state that you're going to, and perhaps using keywords like real estate or realtor. And typically what will happen is you'll have search results that'll come up, and based on those search results, you'll see some people that actually have reviews. And of course, the important thing is that they've taken the time to talk to their clients. Their clients have actually taken the time to write in the reviews, which will give you a pretty good idea of how they actually interact with their clients. In addition to that, once you isolate a few agents online, then you can go to their websites. Typically in the information that you find on Google, you'll find their websites, and then if you go to places on their website like About Me or more information about me, or those types of pages on their websites, you can read through and in most cases find out how long they've been in the business and what sort of experiential level that they have. And then lastly, I think it's the quality of the service. When you interview with somebody eventually, you're going to talk to them and you're going to find out if they're listening to you, if they're making notes of what you're saying and repeating back to you to make sure that they've got the information correct, making sure that you're comfortable with that person. You're going to get a sense pretty quickly, that if you mesh or not. And so I think it's just real important to spend that time and talk to them. And you may have to interview 2 or 3 of them before you find the one that really fits you.
Yeah, that's some really good advice, Tim. I know when I'm online looking for a realtor, in any given city, there's hundreds of them. And, so how do you know which is the best one? Just because they're on page 1 doesn't mean they're the best realtor and the right one for you. So if someone came to your office and wanted to use your service, what would they experience with Tim Burroughs in Boise?
Well, first of all, I try to make an effort with each person that I work with to make them feel like they're the only one I'm working with. Part of the way that you do that is setting expectations at the front end. Like when I first meet with a client and we're starting to talk, I mention something like, "You haven't heard my phone ring, have you?" And they would say, "Well, no, actually I haven't." And I said, "Well, that's because I chose to be with you today and to pay attention to you and your needs, as opposed to having my phone going off all the time and being distracted by, something, whether it's a text message or a phone call or something like that." And of course, I explained to them about how sometimes when you call me, then you'll reach a voicemail because I'm extending that same quality of service to the next person that I'm working with as well. But I assure them that I'll get right back to them. And I think that the proof of the pudding has been many clients over the years have said one single thing over and over again: "I know Tim's busy, I know he's a really good realtor, but when I'm with him, he always makes me feel like I'm the only client he's working with." And so I think that's important. I think the experiential knowledge that I bring to the table is really helpful. I was a lender for 9 years, a real estate appraiser for 4 years, right here in the Boise area. And so that experience as an appraiser here allowed me to be in a position where I got to know the area really well, and more importantly, I learned how to determine what the value of a home is. That information is something that in the almost 1,200 clients that I've worked with, that I've been able to use in each and every case, being able to help them to determine what the value of the home is that they're going to buy, and also where we ought to be setting the value if they're a seller. And so lastly, again, I listen to you. I think it's one of those things that's really important to make sure that you have the ear of the person that you're trying to work with. that I don't know how many times you watch HGTV shows and things like that, and my wife and I are muttering in the background, that isn't what they said. And you just get so frustrated when somebody doesn't listen to what you're looking for. And so it's a matter of trying to figure it out. Now, sometimes we listen to what they're looking for and simply find a situation where that particular make and model just doesn't exist in our market. And so we can be completely honest and candid with them and say, look, we've looked at the entire multiple listing service and there isn't anything like that here. And then try to refocus to see if we can get them to something that really works for their needs.
Well, it sounds like after so many years in the business, you really have your services down and take really good care of your clients. I know that you also have some special offers that you offer new clients. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
I can. I think the strength of working with me is the fact that I have worked as a real estate appraiser in the area, and each time when I'm helping a buyer to buy or a seller to sell, we do a really careful market analysis. For a seller, obviously, it's important that we figure out what are we going to be competing against. So those are going to be active homes on the market. And also what has recently sold, because that gives us an idea of the threshold of what people are willing to pay for homes in that area. And then lastly, the ones that have actually sold and closed, because then we have a clear picture of what homes are selling for, and it'll give us ammunition to hit the seller with in terms of that. And then on the buyer side, obviously they don't want to pay too much for a house, and we want to make sure that we have our I's dotted, T's crossed. So we're looking to see what has actually sold recently in the area, and then be able to contest with that seller, what the right thing to do is.
Great stuff, Tim. Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more information about Tim's services, you can visit him online at www.isellboisehomes.com. For Realtor Reputation, this is Sean McCrory saying thanks for watching.